afternoon, traders. My apologies for being absent for this long. Just been having some family things that I needed to take care of. So what I'd like to do today is we'd like to run through an analysis of Nas100 and we're going to do US30. With that being said, we're also going to tuck into some fundamentals because there's a pretty big week coming up this week. So without further ado, let's get into the trading. So the Nasdaq. The one thing, like, Nas sold quite a bit since my last video. We've been sort of, we first tried the all-time high here, we tested and failed, so now we're coming to the overall major area of support, right? So that's just like from a weekly chart perspective. So from what I'm seeing is more than likely a little bit of a wick fall to come test this line here, yeah. So let's have a look at the daily chart and we can take it from there. Okay, so on daily, what we see is we formed a series of high lows. Let's just have a look at our RSI. And our RSI isn't showing us any signs of reversal just yet, right? There is slight bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence here. That's fine, so we can take the RSI away. What we see now is that we are kind of approaching, you'll see this is my daily channel, right? We had one right up in here like this. Just going to do a quick one, guys. There's one like this and it broke out. It violated that line and now we're coming into the major channel, right? So one thing you need to take into account here is this is a major area for us here. One of two things can happen. The first thing would be, and for this I need to go into the 4-hour chart. The first thing here would be that we continue to the downside, right? Like this, continue to the downside here, touch the trend line and then go up, right? The second scenario would be a break of this line and come into the support area, right? Now just to go to the daily chart quickly, this right here would be an attempt to chase the 200 and come test this area up here. This is the major area of support. It can actually even be smaller, right? It's just so that the 200 would be able to catch up from here. So the 200 will come up somewhere here and then we'll continue to the upside. Remember, Nas is still in a buy momentum and as such we need to act that way. So in an attempt to be ready for both ways, right? Right now I've set up a buy limit around about here. I think it's 14,550. That's over here. 14,550. So let's say around about there. I have a buy limit out here, right? But my stop is quite wide. So my stop looks something like this, right? Below this area, right? And then my take profit is sitting all the way just above the all-time high, right? That's my current scenario that I'm kind of sitting with. I understand the risk of trading this trade, and for that reason I can't put my stop loss up here, right? So let's do the more conservative method. So if we catch a retrace here, we buy, right? So if we can ping this line and shoot up, we will look at something like this. A beautiful risk to reward here, were a little bit above. That's what I would be looking for, right? Just above our all-time high, right? And if we broke the trend line, which is when I would the only time I would actually take this sell, my risk reward would look something like this, right? It would be around about there. My target would be something like that, right? Actually could even be tighter, just a little bit tighter. Cool. See, because I'm just using the support area above here as that confluence there. So let's go to the 4-hour chart, okay? So what we're looking at is something like that. Guys, one tip here is don't sell it past this rectangle. The reason being is because this area is far too strong to take for granted, and the last thing you need is to get stopped out. Nas does seem to be respecting this channel quite nicely. So we just you kind of just have to wait and see what happens. So essentially, to take a sell, it needs to break through the trend line, retest, and then you get in, right? To take the buy, it needs to come all the way down, nick the trend line, confirm, and then we go up. In an ideal world, you kind of want this you want it to respect the trend line, because if you're looking at your risk to reward, if it respects that trend line, it's super tight. Right? That's the key when it comes to NAS now. If we can come to the trend line, you can keep your stop super tight, right? That's so a 60 to 64 just to reward. I mean, you could be cheeky and go even higher. Doesn't really matter, because you can, once we get that first buy and the retest of this area here, once we get that retest of that area here, your stop is in profits already. You know, your stop's like somewhere over here, which is brilliant. Just be careful about how you go about taking the trade, because the last thing you need is to get stopped out for premature entry. So wait for a confirmation candle, let it wick, wait for a bullish confirmation candle, and then we go up, right? So overall, I am hoping for the buy. My bias is buy. However, if a sell does show itself, I did show you guys, wait for a break of this trend line, and then retest, and then you get in. And yeah, that's NAS really, guys. There's not much really to cover in here. As you can also see here, and this is why there's a potential reversal. I almost forgot about this. There's a channel here that's here, like a little bearish channel. That's formed in NAS here, right? So one thing to take into account here, though, is to be careful about getting caught up here. This could generally just mean that the market does something like this and then shoots out. That's also another way to kind of try and catch the trade. Yeah. So just the best advice I can give is to watch the trade. The minute we break out of this channel from here, right, and we retest it, then you get in, right? So essentially what you want is, you want this channel to be broken and to also confirm. But if you're going to take something like that, this is what that entry, this would be like the shorter term entry. You're in from there, you go here, and your target would be something like that. Or you could even go, yeah, I would actually first target that, sort of kind of come in and attempt to chase the 200. That would be a short term target once we break out of this channel. Yeah. Then we have US30. My apologies, guys, I have a little bit of a flu as well. So we're going to cover US30. So with US30, what we've been looking at, we see once again there's like a little bit of a channel happening here. There's like a little bit of a dip, and we might buy. So I've marked off a sell sentiment here simply because I want to confirm what's going on here, right? So if US30 holds this bearish candle, I would consider taking the sell, right? Retest there, catch it down to this area here. The reason why I'm chasing this here is because here's my 200 MA and it chased the 200 again. But if you look at the weekly chart, we could potentially be seeing a wick fall of some kind here before we continue to the upside, right? So let's say hypothetically all that happens. This is what your risk reward would look like. We go on the 4-hour chart quickly. Your risk reward would be this, 2:19. Do not sell the trade further than this, unless you have other confirmations that are showing you this. This is a pretty decent target for something like US30. In terms of the buy sentiment, right? What I ideally would look for, I would ideally look to come in from somewhere up here, right? So let the 50 MA at least confirm bullish a little bit, right? Then what happens is, once we come up here, we break, we retest, we go up, right? Where you will chase it to is all the way up here. You see, there's a whole lot of pending orders sitting up here. We couldn't break this high previously. It caused us to range. The reason why I'm only going to run it up to here is because the market could potentially do something like this. So let's say we get in from here, we ride it up, it just about breaks that and bang, shoots back down. I don't want to get caught out in that, not at all. So in terms of how this will look, what I would do is take a long position, put it there. My stop loss would be nice and tight there, and I ride it all the way up to that area, right? That gives you a 3:88. You could be cheeky and just go all the way into the box, right? Because you have levels up here. I do suspect that we might buy all the way up, but then instead of doing it that way, I'll take another smaller entry once we break that area, something like this, to chase that all-time high up there. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for on the US30. Okay, in terms of risk, so what you'll notice is we ranged quite a while, and this is kind of the expansion phase, so we can expect some impulsive moves coming into the new week. My bias right now short term is sell. That's just simply a wick fill, or kind of just, market to correct itself. If we pull that Fibonacci from here, right, we see that there's a lot of potential here for the market to actually still continue upside and come back into this little flag channel that we have going there, right? So I would like, what potentially could happen is we could range downward into this and then shoot upward as well. But like I say, like I prefer safer entries. Like in terms of the buy, I don't scalp much in terms of anything really outside of like the opens or anything like that. So ideally, just to recap, if you want to sell, you're waiting for a retest of this area here, right? Or like this confirmation, and then you sell it down till maximum here, right? Then the other one that you're going to do is to buy, you want to wait for it to break above here. There's another reason why I say break above here. What will begin to happen is once we get up here, the 50 MA will lift upward and the 200 will lift downward, forming the golden cross, right? So if we manage to get there and the golden cross forms prior to taking the actual buy, then it's more solid to kind of run it above here, right? So my buy position would be this once again, and that's what it would look like. Yeah, so those are the two things I'm looking at this week. I know normally I do gold as well, but where gold is right now, it's just not worth your time. Then finally we have the economic calendar that we need to take into account. Man, this week looks so good for trading fundamentals. We have the AUD interest rate decision, very action packed there. We have non-farm employment change. We have jobless claims. We also have the NFP. Now we all know NFP can be full of surprises. This should be a very good one to be trading this week. One thing to do if you are looking to trade non-farm payrolls, have a look-see at the non-farm employment change. This will help you get like a projection in terms of like non-farm payrolls. It's not to say it's going to be exact at all. However, that's of vital importance for you guys. Yeah. In terms of what we're kind of expecting for this week in general. So yeah, guys, that's kind of my sentiment for the week. As you can see, I'm not being very aggressive this week like I usually am. Like once again, like in my sentiments are a hard retrace and then up, go bullish again on NAS, a hard retrace and then go bullish on US30 as well. We will be trading both ways. In terms of news, please trade carefully, guys. These news events are vitally important. They determine a lot of things. I am working on a fundamental analysis section. Those of you interested in learning fundamental analysis, you're welcome to reach out to us. Reach out to us on a Telegram channel. And so far so good, guys. Like I'll keep you guys up to date. Please, if you want constant updates, please feel free to join our Telegram channel. The link is below. If you are interested in joining our VIP group, we also have something like that. You're welcome to reach out to us on Telegram. We share setups, we share everything, guys. And the VIP guys are starting to get access into our training material as well. So if you guys are interested, please feel free to reach out to us. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons below if you want to get more notifications around the videos. Let's kill this week, guys. And without further ado, keep it moving more than average, guys.